Welcome back to YouTube. Dirt Nap Bros here, and I'm Stefan.
I'm Hunter.
This is my daughter Aspen. She requested to be in the video.
This is my hairless cat Remy, who apparently is not going to leave us alone today.
He's judging us right now. Today we are talking about how to scout and locate turkeys or their habitat where they're going to be at.
So we started turkey. Well, I started turkey hunting last year. How long have you been turkey hunting?
No, last year.
Last year, right? So we started turkey hunting last year. We pulled in. So we live in North Carolina, and for most of the game lands, in order to get the permission to hunt on a game land for turkey season, you have to have a permit to hunt.
A draw. Yep.
Yeah, a draw. Yep. You have to enter in a draw. It's $10. Super easy. You go to their website. There's a big link on the right. You click on it. You fill it out. You pay your $10, and then you pick the dates. And it's open the entirety of turkey season, and then you do your draw.
Yep.
So I did not get drawn this year, but last year I did.
We both got drawn last year.
Yeah, well, we were together in that one.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got drawn for a place called Sharon Harris Game Lands, to which I think we both can agree that there are no turkeys on Sharon Harris Game Land.
Yeah, so with that, we had the very last...
What?
You told people where we live?
Yeah.
If you guys get famous, people are going to start stalking us at Sharon Harris Game Land.
That's fine.
Okay.
Anyways, so I think the problem with that is, so we got the very last draw dates for the season.
Yeah.
And by that point, it was already been hunted out hardcore. With that being said, that game land only produced I looked at the records I take the records each year for how many game lands they get shot out there and are harvested. And that game land only 4 turkeys got shot last year.
Yeah.
So I think by the time we got out there, there was nothing out
gone.
there.
It was too late.
Yep.
So we walked 24 miles in 80+ degree heat. It was hot as hell.
Yep.
And I think we saw one old track.
We saw a few old tracks.
Yeah. We heard that one cluck.
And then we got excited about the turkey vultures.
Yeah, super excited. Saw turkey vultures, which, by the way, look a lot like turkey.
Yep.
But they're not.
Yep.
So walked a ton, looked around, saw nothing, and then this year we decided we're gonna put in some draws again and do a lot more research. Like I said, I did not get drawn, but you did.
Yep, so I got lucky. So I got drawn for Sand Hills Game Land, which I always see a bunch of turkeys out there.
I think it consistently produces 100+ turkeys harvested.
No, not 100. It's around, I think last year, it was around 45 got shot out there. And those are gobblers, not jakes. That's another thing too. Last year we could shoot jakes. This year we can't.
Yeah.
It changed. It changes every year based on the turkey population. But I always see turkeys out there, and I'm looking forward to getting out there and getting on some thunder chickens.
Yeah, turkey actually has a pretty interesting story in North Carolina too. So at one point in time, there was almost zero turkey in the state of North Carolina. So North Carolina Wildlife Game Commission and Fort Bragg did a really great job. It's like a huge conservation success story in this state. So they were trapping. So they started with bred turkeys. We're releasing them out in the wild, and it turned out that it just wasn't viable, right? It turns out if you raise somebody in a house their entire life and let them in the wild, they eventually end up getting eaten by a predator. So we're trapping turkeys from up north. I want to say the Jersey area, if I'm not mistaken. And they were bringing them down and letting them go on Fort Bragg, and they had a very viable population on Fort Bragg that then they started trapping from and moving all across the state. And now, if I'm not mistaken, there's turkey in almost every county.
Everywhere. When we're just driving down the highway, we see them.
Yeah, we see them all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a huge conservation success story for the turkey. And now, we don't have a fall turkey season, but we do get a spring turkey season here in North Carolina. We can take 2 toms every spring. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're coming up with. I think it starts around the first week of April with youth season, and then goes through the first week of May, and then that's it. So it's a short duration for turkey season, but it's good. So we went out and started doing some scouting on an area that we have nearby us recently, and what we ended up finding was a ton of scratch
Yep.
nearby a small creek. in a huge circular motion.
Yep.
If you've ever been to the National Wild Turkey Federation's website and look up kind of how turkey behave, it fits perfect, right? So started following the scratches on that. I think we broke off one time, yeah?
Yep.
Went checked out this big field nearby, and then that's when I almost fell in the water. Yeah. It was not okay. Crossed the big creek, and once we crossed, well, it wasn't a big creek. Crossed a small creek. And once we crossed a small creek, we came across and then went back up a small hill.
Yep.
Yeah, and then how did we get into them?
We just kind of walked right up into them.
Yeah.
Like we just were, because it was pretty thick. It was North Carolina, so we were dealing with tanglefoot and briars and whatnot, and we kind of just walked right up into them as they were feeding, and then of course they all just took off, and there was at least 20 of them.
Yeah, quite a few. So we're hoping to get into some during his hunt, which I'm gonna hopefully be there to film, or during multiple hunts. We do plan on going out quite a bit this season because we're really, really bored now that deer and duck are over.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to stay entertained, even with the amount of kids and animals that we have. It's difficult. So we went in, we marked everything on onX, and we have some really good pens. I suggest if you're out turkey hunting, first thing I would say look for is edge habitat.
Edge habitat.
Yep.
And then get on some tracks.
And then get on some tracks. And so for edge habitat, I had a hard time kind of comprehending when everybody said, oh, that's edge, gotta get in the edge. What we're talking about is if you can find where a cluster of, like, if you're hunting North Carolina, there's a cluster of pine trees and then a small patch of oaks is really what you're going to find here, right? So I would start searching that area, and then what you're going to look for is if you deer hunt, you're basically looking for a scrape that's kind of in a V motion with a pile of leaves piled up behind it. So what the turkeys do is they come up and they use their feet and kind of kick it back in this kind of V motion, right? And then they peck away at the ground there. So that's what you're after. You want to start. I think actually this last scouting trip we actually just started with tracks.
We started. Yeah. We drove down in, got out in foot, started walking, and we just every mud puddle we came by on a trail, we were just looking for turkey tracks.
Yep.
And as soon as we came to the little mud puddle and found turkey tracks, we were all like, all right, which way they going? We just cut in and started following it.
And that's when we came on the scratches.
Yep.
And we just followed the scratches around. We found, turkey dun, which has that signature J shape to it. Mm-hmm. And then as we continue following, I think I found that big ass turkey feather you lost.
Yep.
Yep. I picked up this awesome turkey feather. I was like, I'm going to tie a fly. Gave it to Stefan and it fell out. And then from there, we took off and kind of bolted down to the field, which actually was a pretty bad idea. And I'm looking at the map here. You can see that's where we found the tracks. We kind of cut in, and then they kind of do like this big circle. But further up here, we cut into a field. When we cut into that field, we lost them. There were none. Although the field was pretty well flooded.
It was pretty flooded.
Yeah, I think it was ankle to knee deep.
Yeah, because we had a heavy rain before that went out.
Cut back in, and we continued to found some scratches, and as I pointed out the scratches to Steph, and he pointed in the air, and I looked up, and there was like 35 to 50 turkeys flying off.
Yep.
Well.
Yep. And then I was out scouting yesterday while I was at work, and yesterday was kind of a weird day. We had a huge, basically, monsoon downpour. Like, everything flooded. But I was still out in the morning while I was at work scouting, but of course everything was washed out. They were all still in their roost. And it wasn't until later in the day, it was around evening time, 5 o'clock is when they started getting more active. And so immediately put it on onX, drop a pin, and then later on this week I'll scout more and more and figure out their routine.
Yeah, I can't stress onX enough. Like we're not getting paid by them. We're not getting sponsored by them. I pay for my own subscription, so does Stefan. The benefits of having that mapping application are huge. The ability to drop pins during both deer season and turkey season are just crazy benefits to that. And then it's just helpful. Like I'm looking at the map right now, and I could see the path that we walked. I could see where we parked. This is the area that we duck hunt in. So I'm familiar with with kind of the trail system in here, the fire break system in here. And as I'm looking, I can see kind of where they're moving about. And I can see why they're moving it, right? Like I'm looking at the map and I see a huge dense cluster of green, which is pine trees. And then just to the right of that, you can see the ground. It looks almost like bare. It's a brownish color. And they're sticking in between, like literally in between those pine trees and where those oaks and where that open
Yep.
bottom is, just walking.
And they have their strutting fields.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So you find strutting fields. What you'll find is two little lines where a male turkey is fanned out and he's got his wings dragging the ground to show he's the biggest, baddest. And they like to dust there sometimes too. So our plan, I think, we found where we bumped them.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as season opens, we're gonna crawl in there. And the camo that we have, which is the Prime 1 with my son, who's got the Realtree Edge.
Mm-hmm.
We posted a video. We're going to be posting a video about that shortly, so make sure you go watch that. So once we crawl in, we're going to get kind of set up, sip on some coffee, and throw out a couple calls on the box and diaphragm and the wing call and the slate call, which we also did another video about, and hope to get into a big time.
Yep. Hopefully. I mean, this is the year. I'm feeling lucky.
I'm lucky.
If I bring my daughter along, it'll be a good luck charm.
What's your favorite way to eat turkey? You don't like turkey?
That was rude.
It's a whole turkey thing. Alright, she doesn't like turkey. What was rude? Do you like turkey sandwiches? Okay, she doesn't like turkey. That's right, we do.
What's your favorite hunting? Deer?
Hunting with hot cocoa.
With hot cocoa?
She likes the
That's
hot cocoa.
that's how she hunts. She hunts deer with hot cocoa and a bunch of snacks, huh?
In her dad's giant puffy jacket.
Uh-huh.
Alright, YouTube. Remember, subscribe, like, leave us a comment. Want to hold that up for me? Let me know if you want to purchase one of these awesome slaps.
Yep. And if you're sitting on your couch, you can't be dishing out dirt naps.